when it comes to logbooks and math is some components have a grace period. So for example, a phase 1 through 4 inspection has like a 30-day grace period. So it's due at the end of the month, and if you don't get to it at the end of the month, but you're going to get to the next month, like there's a grace period. There's a grace period when it comes to the engines. You have to hot section them every 1,750 hours for a JT15D-1A and through those engines are 3,500-hour TBO engines. There's a 50-hour grace period, so you can wait an extra 50 hours, and some people push it that 50 hours. There's also, I think with the Williams engine, there's also timing that you can do it early, but you have to be within a certain limit. I think within 200 hours, you can do a hot section or an overhaul early if you wanted to. So there's that as well. So bring your calculators. There's a lot of math that you're going to want to do. Beyond the big inspections, the big engine stuff you're going to want to be aware of, the other thing you want to be aware of are life-limited parts. When it comes to going through the logbooks, a lot of people focus on the overhaul and the engines. You want to look at life-limited parts. So common life-limited parts in the engine are the fan hub, the impeller, compressor rotors, the HT disc, the LT disc, the blades. The blades are usually one of the bigger ones that people will find. They usually make it from about 3,500 hour overhaul TBOs, but what's going to happen is, especially in the later ones, is the blades might cost maybe a couple $100, $300 per blade. So there's 71 blades, so you're looking, okay, well, 300 times 71, that's 21 grand for the blades. That's just the parts. But because you have to take the whole thing off, the whole engine off, you have to get it serviced. Like that could be an extra, 20, 30, 40 grand of labor. So replacing all the blades can easily get close to six figures, when that's due. So you want to be aware of that while you're going through the logbooks to say, okay, well, when are the life-limited parts due? Because maybe I can do a hot section now instead of an overhaul, but then I still have to replace a bunch of stuff. Is it worth it, or do I just do an overhaul and replace all the parts? So life-limited parts are going to be something that's important for you to keep in mind when you're looking through the logbooks. When are they coming due? Rounding it out, we've got STCs, that are going to be part of the logbook. So if your aircraft was modified and it was let's say a Cessna 500 and converted to a 501, you're going to want to find that STC. Let's say they did something, and an STC is a Supplemental Type Certificate. So anytime you make changes to the inside or to the aircraft at all, you add winglets, you change the engines, you add a compartment under the tail, an aft baggage mod, you finish that. You move chairs around. You add a bench where there was a barrel seat. All that kind of stuff requires what's called a STC, a Supplemental Type Certificate, and that changes the nature, if you will, of the jet. And so you want to make sure you have all the STCs that you're going to need. They're usually found in a form called the 8130s. It could be organized in the logbooks if you're lucky, or if not, they just stuck it in there whenever it was done, and you got to go find it. So they usually look kind of fancy, almost like a diploma, and they have like nice fancy font on there, and they usually kind of make a big deal about it. But you could have STCs for adding air conditioning, anything. So you want to make sure if there's specific things that you want on the jet that you have all those STCs. It may be possible to find them later, but just something you want to be mindful of.